The text came through at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. "Hey man, your wife just left in a BMW, black M5. Wasn't her car. Thought you should know." My neighbor, Rick, retired cop, doesn't miss much. I was standing in my garage, socket wrench in hand, underneath a 1967 Mustang that most people thought was a rust bucket. I wiped my hands on a rag and typed back, "I know, I'm having it towed." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Towed? You mean like repossessed?" I smiled. "Something like that." What Rick didn't know, what my wife Ashley didn't know, was that the BMW she just drove away in, I owned it. Not her boyfriend, Brandon, not some lease company. Me. Along with the condo he was living in, the restaurant where they had their secret dinners, and the gym where they met every Tuesday at 3 p.m. See, my wife thought I was a struggling mechanic who barely kept our bills paid. She had no idea I owned a $50 million real estate and investment portfolio. And she definitely had no idea that for the last 6 months I'd been buying up every piece of her affair. If you want to know what happens when a cheating wife realizes her secret life is actually her husband's property, hit subscribe, because when that tow truck showed up, it was just the beginning. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm 39 years old and I live in Austin, Texas. For the last 12 years, I've run Webb's Auto Repair out of a small shop on the east side of town. 2 bays, a lift that squeaks, a waiting room with coffee that tastes like motor oil. I wear Dickies covered in grease. My hands are permanently stained. I drive a 1994 Ford F-150 with 290,000 miles and a door that doesn't close right. To everyone who knows me, including my wife, I'm a blue-collar guy who works 60-hour weeks just to keep the lights on. Ashley, my wife of 8 years, works as a marketing manager for a tech startup downtown. She makes $120,000 a year, drives an Audi Q5, wears clothes that cost more than my monthly rent. For the last 3 years, she's made it very clear that she's the breadwinner. "Marcus, we can't afford that. I'm carrying this household. Maybe if you charged more for your work? I don't know how much longer I can do this." The resentment dripped from every sentence. What she didn't know, what nobody knew, was that I wasn't struggling at all. I was just very, very good at looking like I was. Let me back up. My father, James Webb, was a mechanic, a real one, worked his whole life in a shop that barely broke even. He died when I was 19, heart attack, left me the shop, $8,000 in debt, and a piece of advice. "Don't just fix cars, son, fix your future." I didn't understand what he meant until I found the envelope. It was in his toolbox, hidden under a false bottom. Inside was a deed to a small commercial property in what was then a run-down part of East Austin. He'd bought it in 1987 for $15,000, paid in cash, never told anyone. "If you're reading this," his note said, "I'm gone. This property is yours. Don't sell it. Hold it. Austin's going to grow, and when it does, you'll be ready." He was right. By 2005, that property was worth $200,000. By 2010, $800,000. By 2015, $2.3 million. I sold it in 2016 for $3.1 million, and I used that money to do exactly what my father had done: buy more property, hold it, and wait. I didn't buy flashy stuff, no downtown condos or high-rises. I bought the unsexy real estate that nobody wanted. Old warehouses, small strip malls, run-down apartment buildings in neighborhoods people were fleeing. Then I waited. Austin exploded. Tech companies moved in. Californians flooded the market. Property values went vertical. By 2020, my portfolio was worth $30 million. By 2023, $50 million. I own 17 properties across Austin, commercial, residential, mixed use. And I managed it all through an LLC so boring nobody would ever look twice. Lone Star Holdings, LLC. No website, no office, just a P.O. box and a CPA who handled the paperwork. To the world, I was Marcus Webb, mechanic. To my accountant, I was Marcus Webb, real estate mogul. And I kept those two identities completely separate. I met Ashley in 2015, a coffee shop near the University of Texas. She was finishing her MBA. I was in my work clothes, covered in grease, grabbing a coffee between jobs. She smiled at me. "Rough day?" "Every day's rough when you work with your hands," I said. We started talking. She was smart, ambitious, funny. We dated for a year, got married in 2016. I didn't tell her about the money. Not because I didn't trust her, because I wanted her to know she'd love me without it. My father's words echoed in my head. Money changes people. Make sure you know who they are before they know what you have. So I kept working at the shop, kept driving my old truck, kept living modestly. And for a while, it worked. But over the years, I watched her change. The woman who used to bring me lunch at the shop stopped coming by. The woman who said she loved my work ethic started resenting it. "You're always covered in grease. You smell like oil. Why can't you just do something else?" She started going out more. Networking events, client dinners, girls' nights. Her hours got later, her explanations got vaguer. And then 6 months ago, I found the text. She'd left her phone on the kitchen counter. It lit up with a message. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place?" The name at the top? Brandon. I didn't recognize the name, but I recognized the tone. I opened the thread. Months of messages, hotels, restaurants, I love yous that made my stomach turn. I sat there in my kitchen holding her phone and felt something inside me go cold. Not heartbreak, not rage, clarity. I didn't confront her, not yet. Instead, I did what I do best. I gathered information. I hired a private investigator, a good one, former FBI. "I need to know everything," I told him. "Where they go, what they do, who he is." 2 weeks later, he handed me a file. Brandon Mitchell, 34 years old, works in finance, drives a black BMW M5, lives in a luxury condo in West Austin, member of an upscale gym downtown, takes Ashley to a French restaurant called Bissou every Thursday night. I flipped through the surveillance photos. Ashley and Brandon holding hands, kissing in parking lots, walking into his building. The PI looked at me. "You want me to keep going?" "No," I said. "I've seen enough." He hesitated. "What are you going to do?" I closed the file. "I'm going to buy his life." The BMW was first. Brandon had leased it through a dealership on the north side. I called the owner, guy I'd done work for over the years. "Hey, Marcus, what's up?" "That black M5 you've got on lease to a Brandon Mitchell, what would it take to buy out the lease?" Silence. "You want to buy out someone else's lease?" "Yeah, that's unusual. Can I ask why?" "Personal reasons." He laughed. "You're a weird dude, Marcus, but sure, give me a day." 24 hours later, I owned Brandon's car. He didn't know it yet. The lease payments kept auto-drafting from his account, but the title? That was mine. And when the time came, I could do whatever I wanted with it. Next was the condo. Brandon rented a 2-bedroom in a building called the Ashton. High-end, pool, gym, concierge. I called the property management company, asked who owned the building. Turned out it was a small investment group out of Dallas, 3 partners. They'd bought it in 2019, were looking to offload it. "We're open to offers," the broker said. I offered $8.2 million, all cash, close in 30 days. They accepted. Brandon's condo, the place where he'd been sleeping with my wife, was now mine. He still paid rent, still had no idea, but I was his landlord. Then came the restaurant, Bissou, upscale French place, white tablecloths, $200 bottles of wine, the kind of spot where affairs feel sophisticated. I looked into the ownership. Turns out the chef-owner was struggling. Great food, bad business sense. He was 3 months behind on his commercial lease. I owned the building.
Not directly. It was part of a strip mall I'd bought in 2018. But the lease? That was between him and Lone Star Holdings. I called him. Chef Laurent, this is Marcus Webb from Lone Star Holdings. I understand you're behind on rent. His voice was tight. Yes, I'm working on it. I have a proposal. I'll forgive the back rent and reduce your monthly payment by 20%. Silence. Why would you do that? Because I want to buy into the restaurant. Silent partner, 40% equity. He hesitated. I need to think about it. You've got 24 hours. After that, I start eviction proceedings. He called back in 6 hours. Deal. I now owned 40% of the restaurant where my wife was having her affair. The gym was last. Ironworks Fitness. Boutique gym. Expensive. Brandon and Ashley met there every Tuesday at 3 p.m. for personal training sessions. I looked into the ownership. Single owner, guy named Derek, mid-50s, talking about retiring. I reached out through a broker, made an offer, $1.2 million. He accepted. I now owned the gym where my wife met her lover. In 6 weeks, I'd quietly bought up every piece of their affair. The car, the condo, the restaurant, the gym. Brandon thought he was living his best life. He had no idea he was living in mine. I didn't tell Ashley any of this. I kept going to work, kept coming home covered in grease, kept playing the struggling mechanic, but I started watching her differently.
Every time she said she was working late, I knew she was at Bisou. Every time she said she was at the gym, I knew she was with Brandon. Every lie she told, I documented. Not for revenge, for leverage. Because I wasn't going to blow up. I wasn't going to yell. I was going to dismantle her affair piece by piece, and she wouldn't even see it coming. The text from Rick came on a Tuesday, same day Ashley always went to the gym. Hey man, your wife just left in a BMW, black M5. Wasn't her car. Thought you should know. I was in my garage, working on a '67 Mustang I'd been restoring. I wiped my hands and texted back, I know, I'm having it towed. Rick called immediately. What do you mean towed? Exactly what I said. Marcus, what's going on? I'll explain later. Thanks for the heads up. I hung up and made another call. Austin Towing? Yeah, I need a car picked up. Black BMW M5, license plate. I rattled off the number. It's parked at Ironworks Fitness on West 6th. Reason for tow? Unauthorized use of my vehicle. You got the title? I do. We'll have a truck there in 20 minutes. I smiled. Perfect. I drove to the gym, parked across the street where I could see the entrance. At 4:15, Ashley and Brandon walked out together, laughing, his hand on her lower back. They walked to the parking lot and stopped. The BMW was gone. I watched Brandon spin in a circle, confused. He pulled out his phone, started making calls. Ashley looked worried, said something I couldn't hear. Brandon's face went from confused to angry. He was yelling now, pointing at the empty space like it might bring the car back. I pulled out my phone and texted Ashley. Hey babe, running late at the shop. Don't wait up for dinner. 3 dots, then, okay, no problem. I watched her type that message while standing next to Brandon, who was now on the phone with the leasing company. The lie came so easy to her. That night, Ashley came home at 7 p.m., normal time, normal face. Hey, she said, kissing my cheek. How was your day? Good, busy. You? Oh, you know, just work stuff. Hit the gym? She didn't even blink. Yeah, good workout. I nodded. That's great. She went upstairs to shower. I sat on the couch and waited. At 7:30, my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This is Brandon Mitchell. I don't know who you are, but you towed my car. I want it back now. I typed back, your car? Check the title. 3 dots, then nothing. 5 minutes later, another text. What the hell is this? Why is your name on my car?
Because I own it, and you're done driving it. This is insane. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. Bring the title when you do. He didn't respond. The next morning, I got a call from the condo management company. Mr. Webb, we have a tenant in Unit 402 asking questions about the ownership change. He's upset. Let me guess. Brandon Mitchell? Yes. He's demanding to speak to the owner. Tell him the owner doesn't take meetings, but his rent is due on the 1st, same as always. He's threatening to break his lease. He can try, but he signed a contract. If he breaks it, he forfeits his deposit and owes 3 months' rent as penalty. Silence. You've really thought this through. I have. Can I ask why? Personal reasons.
I hung up. That afternoon, I got a call from Chef Laurent at Bizou. Marcus, I have a strange situation. A customer is asking who owns the restaurant. Let me guess. Brandon Mitchell? Yes. How did you know? What did he tell him? I told him it's none of his business. Good. If he comes back, let me know. Marcus, what's going on? Just keep cooking, Chef. Everything's fine. By the end of the week, Brandon was unraveling. His car was gone. His landlord was suddenly unresponsive. His favorite restaurant was acting weird, and he had no idea why. Ashley, meanwhile, was getting nervous. Brandon's having a weird week, she said one night at dinner. I looked up from my plate. Oh, yeah? Yeah, his car got towed. Some mix-up with the lease company. That sucks. And he's having issues with his landlord. Rough. She studied my face. You don't seem surprised. Should I be? She frowned. No, I guess not. But I could see the wheels turning. The confrontation came 2 weeks later. I was at the shop under a Honda Accord when Ashley walked in. She never came to the shop anymore. Marcus, we need to talk. I rolled out from under the car. About Brandon. I stood up, wiped my hands. Who's Brandon? Her face flushed. Don't play dumb. I'm not. I genuinely don't know who you're talking about. My friend, Brandon. He's been having all these weird things happen. His car, his apartment, his... Your friend? I interrupted. Or your boyfriend? She went pale. I pulled out my phone, opened the folder of surveillance photos, handed it to her. She scrolled through them. Her hands started shaking. Marcus. I know everything, Ashley. I've known for 6 months. Then why didn't you say anything? Because I wanted to see how far you'd go. Tears started falling. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I'll end it. It's already ended, I said calmly. What? The car he drives, I own it. The condo he lives in, I own it. The restaurant where you have your little Thursday dinners, I own 40% of it. The gym where you meet, I own that too. Her mouth fell open. What are you talking about? I pulled out another folder. Deeds, titles, LLC documents. For the last 6 months, while you've been sneaking around, I've been buying up every piece of your affair. That's insane. No, that's strategy. She tried to process it. You're not a struggling mechanic. No, you've been lying to me. No, I've been private. There's a difference. How much are you worth? Enough. Marcus, tell me. I looked at her, this woman I'd loved, this woman who'd looked down on me for years. About $50 million. She actually stumbled backward. 50 million? Give or take. And you let me think you were broke? I let you show me who you are. Her face twisted. So this is what? Some kind of test? No, it's just reality. You wanted someone successful, someone who could give you the life you thought you deserved, so you found Brandon. Marcus! But here's the thing, Ashley. Brandon doesn't have anything. He leases a car he can't afford. He rents a condo he's about to lose. He eats at a restaurant I own. Everything you thought he had, it's mine. She sank into a chair. I don't understand. You fell in love with a lifestyle, not a person. And that lifestyle, I built it. I just didn't advertise it. The divorce was quick. Ashley didn't fight. She couldn't. She'd signed a prenup when we got married, back when she thought I had nothing worth protecting. That prenup was ironclad, drafted by the same attorney who handled my real estate deals. She got her Audi, her retirement account. That's it. I kept everything else, including Brandon's car, condo, and dignity. 2 months after the divorce was final, Brandon moved out of the condo. Couldn't afford it anymore, not after I raised the rent to market rate. The BMW? I sold it, donated the proceeds to a men's shelter. The restaurant? Still running. Chef Laurent's doing great. The gym? I kept it. Even started working out there. Tuesdays at 3 p.m. The irony isn't lost on me. Ashley moved to Dallas, got a new job, new life. I heard through mutual friends that she's dating someone new, a lawyer, drives a Porsche. I hope it works out for her. I really do, because I learned something through all of this. You can't build a life on lies. Not really. You can perform success, you can fake wealth, you can lease a lifestyle, but eventually someone owns the title, and when they do, you're just a tenant in your own story. I still run the shop, still drive my old truck, but now I do it because I want to, not because I have to. I bought the building the shop is in, paid cash. I hired 2 more mechanics, good guys, pay them well, and every day I come in covered in grease, fix cars, and go home satisfied. Because real wealth isn't about what you show, it's about what you own, and I own my life, every single piece of it. Rick, my neighbor, stopped by the shop last week. Man, I've been hearing stories. Yeah? About you, about everything. I smiled. Don't believe everything you hear. So it's not true? You're not secretly rich? I wiped my hands on a rag. Define rich. He laughed. You're something else, Marcus. I'm just a mechanic, Rick. Sure you are. He left shaking his head, and I went back to work. Because that's the thing about being underestimated. It gives you room to move. And when you finally make your move, nobody sees it coming. If this story hit home, comment, I own it. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever had someone mistake your humility for weakness, if you've ever quietly built something while others weren't paying attention, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the power of staying silent until it's time to speak. Because the best revenge isn't showing them what you have, it's owning what they thought they had and watching them realize it was never theirs to begin with.